Hey everybody, it's time once again for the weekly Rahdo recap, where I try to do three things. Tell you about all the stuff that went up on the channel recently, tell you about a bunch of other board game videos that went up on other people's channels that I think are excellent, and tell you about games you probably haven't heard of that I've discovered in my weekly research. This time I'm doing a fourth thing though, folks. I am making an announcement, and it has to do with Funicon 2023, a board game convention that'll be happening at the end of October in Eugene, Oregon. A 3-day extravaganza of tabletop gaming. Why am I telling you about this? Well, it might have something to do with a special guest. Me and Chaz Marler of Watch It Played. I am very excited, folks, and if you're going to be in and around the Pacific Northwest come Halloween time, well, I hope you can swing by and maybe play a game with me, and maybe Chaz, too. I played a game with Rodney. I've never played with Chaz, so I'm really looking forward to it. Jen's going to be there as well, selling her gamer glass, and there's a whole bunch of other fun activities. So that's going to be a lot of fun. If you want to know more, head over to funagain.com and you can get information about tickets and all the rest of it. I hope to see some of you there, folks. That's the beginning of Jen's and my epic half-year-long road trip down to Mexico and back. We're going to be starting in Eugene at Funicon 2023. Hope to see you there. Okay, now, announcements out of the way, let's do what I came here to do, which is tell you about videos that went up on the channel. Let's start with some exclusives, because if you support the show, either here on YouTube as a member or over at patreon.com, well, you might have wanted to check out Sea Dragons and Lunaris 45. Jen and I sat down and played full playthroughs of both of these games. They're a lot of fun. I'm telling you right now, folks, Sea Dragons, I think that's a odds-on favorite for Spiel des Jahres if it ever makes it over to Germany. Such a fun game, really perfect for families. And Lunaris 45 answers the question, what would Fuse be like if it wasn't real time? And was a lot crunchier. There was some fun stuff to be had in both of these games. And they're exclusives for backers of the show. Thank you, folks, for keeping Rahdo running. But that's not the only exclusive. You can also watch the entire August edition of the Rahdo Talks Through podcast. 2.5 hours long where Jen and I answered questions. So many questions answered on some tough topics. And you can listen to this at podcast.rahdo.com. But if you want to watch and you want to see what it is I'm talking about, well, again, if you support the show at any level, you've got access to this right now. But that's not all you have access to, folks. Backers get early access to videos that I film. So if you don't want to wait until I put Forever Home up on the channel in a couple of weeks, you can see it right now. And this might be Jen's favorite game of the year. Training and rescuing dogs and rehoming them with a fun little puzzly tile laying game. Yes, please. That's available right now. Again, as an early view for backers. I also did a run through of Mystic Mischief Volume 2, which is going to be crowdfunding soon. And folks, I never thought I'd cover this, but oh my gosh, was I surprised by this. And oh my gosh, did my brain explode. So did Jen's, and I explained why. This is going to be coming soon to the channel, but it's available for you right now. If you're a supporter of the show, Cosmoctopus, Ruel falls under the thrall of a cosmic deity, and it's a lot of fun. You'll be able to see this early. And what's the other one? Oh, right, Deliverance from Shay. This is going to be coming to fundraising platforms soon, and Shay will show off this skirmish game between angels and demons fighting on Earth, and it's a lot of fun too. Again, folks, thank you so much for supporting the show. Hopefully you enjoy the exclusives. Hopefully you enjoy the early looks. And if you want those early looks, head over to early.rahdo.com or resident.rahdo.com so you can check them out. Okay, folks, those are the exclusives. Now, what does everybody get access to? Well, for starters, earlier this week, I put up my preview of Philharmonics, which is such a cool, big, crunchy Euro game all about managing an intergalactic orchestra that travels from planet to planet, recruits all the best musicians and performers, and puts on beautiful symphonies in this incredibly crunchy worker placement game. We both enjoyed it a lot. It's a really fresh game, unlike anything else on the market, and you can check out my preview for Philharmonics now. Kimberly did a run-through for Vampire the Masquerade's Chapters, which I gotta say just oozes gothic, theme and flavor, and really brings the very favorite franchise. Man, I remember playing Vampire the Masquerade in trading card form back in the 90s. This has been with us forever, and this brings the role-playing game to life in cardboard form, and Kimberly does a great job showing it off. Let's see. Oh, I also did a run-through for Footprints, and I'm calling this right now, folks. You know, when you go to conventions like Essen or Gen Con, and people always ask, hey, what's a game that nobody's heard of? You should check it out. Footprints is that game. I think this is going to be a real sleeper, and you don't want to be... watch my run-through, decide for yourself if it looks like fun. And if you already watched my run-through, you might want to check it out again, because I did make a rules goof. You can see right there, I'm correcting the goof, so go back and check at 2544 to see the little mistake I made that makes the game even better once played correctly. But still, you get a good idea of why Footprints is such a wonderful and fresh and unique engine building game. And then, what else went up on the channel? Shay did a run through for Age of Wonders Planetfall, which is basically an interstellar 4X game about expanding, exploring, exploiting, and exterminating, but it plays in record time. This is not some 6-hour-long Twilight Imperium thing. This is a fast game that is driven by worker placement. And I think it's very, very clever, and you can watch that right now with a great run through Shay did. Also, I put up the latest Rahdo Q&A where I answer all the tough questions, like how do you do combat right and wrong, and I give examples of both. What are the best games I will never play? What is the worst card in board game history? I will name and shame it and say why it's terrible. And I had a lot of fun doing it, and you get to see me wearing my reading glasses because at one point I was having a tough time with small text. Okay, that was a lot of fun. And finally, the last thing that went up on the channel was a quick rapid review for Valbara, which is a wonderful little card game that basically gives you all the flavor and experience of Libertalia in a fraction of the time. Or another way to look at it is, have you ever wanted to play Citadels but not hate your friends and family afterwards? Then you might want to check out the very clever, beautiful card game Valbara. I did a rapid review of that. Okay, folks, so that's everything that went up on my channel. But what about other channels? Well, for starters, I was very impressed by this review or preview of Dungeon Card from Alex of Might I Suggest. Now, Alex is going to be making his triumphant return to the channel this week. I'm very excited, but in the meantime, you want to see why I brought Alex onto the channel? He's got to be the fastest talking person, even faster than Alex of Board Game Co. Even faster than me, and I love it. And if you like Mario Kart, he did a great job summarizing why this game might be worth checking out. He's made me interested in playing it, and I thought he did a great little... He normally does TikTok games, so I want to see Alex doing more YouTube stuff, because I don't live on TikTok. So I'm spreading the word. Turns out he does great 8-minute long previews on YouTube as well, and it's probably worth checking out Dungeon Card. Link for this down in the show notes along with everything else I'm talking about today, or if you wait till the end, folks, there's going to be a playlist of all the videos I'm talking about. Good job, Alex. Okay, what's next? Oh, Lizzie of Long Distance Gamers actually has done now 3 chapters of gameplay for a new game, Arceus, which I'm surprised nobody's talking about this game. It's got a murderer's row of some of the best French board game designers all came together and made a big, sprawling narrative campaign adventure game. And very little information is out there, even though it's been in people's hands, but Lizzie does some phenomenal run-throughs that let you know exactly what this game plays like. And she doesn't mess around. She just gets right into the action and did a great job. Just even watching this for a few minutes, you will know whether you want to check this game out. From the designer of The Loop, teaming up with the designer of Seven Wonders and plenty of other designers besides. Check out Lizzie's series of run-throughs for Arceus. Okay. What else was there? Oh, right. Chris of Room and Board. Normally, he does countdown lists and deathmatch comparison things, but occasionally he does reviews as well. And he did one for Verdant, which I thought was very good. And he has the very, very hot take that Verdant is superior to Cascadia. Is he right, folks? I think he makes a very, very strong argument with his very, very silly mustache that he's using because he's in a play right now. He really doesn't have the handlebar mustache. Don't let it distract you, because he does some really good analysis on a really phenomenal original Entwine drafting game that should get a lot more attention. So I'm glad he covered it, and I think he has, again, check out his spicy hot take. Is Verdant better than Cascadia? Chris will let you know. That's not all, folks. 5 Games to Doomsday is a phenomenal, maybe one of the best board game podcasts there is, run by Ben Maddox. And Ben also has a YouTube channel. And this one, this is his best video he's ever done, I think. These are the games that made me, where he talks about 5 games that are the pillars of his growth as a gamer. And he has so much enthusiasm and passion that he brings to this. Never mind the fact that he has maybe the best voice. Just the sound of his voice is so wonderful with his British accent and all that. This game is hypnotic. And it's convinced me I need to do this same topic at some point. The games that made me. It's a very interesting and in-depth exploration of a bunch of different styles of game that helped Ben define for himself who he is as a gamer. And I guarantee you, after you watch this, you're probably going to want to check out his podcast as well. Maybe the one where I guest host, or where I was the guest on it. Anyway, though, that's not all, folks. Oh my gosh. Crokinole Queries. This is a potential new series from publisher Ivy Games. Because I covered Mystic Mischief, I went and I checked out other videos on Ivy Games channel. I thought they'd all just be ads for their games. And granted, they do a lot of that. But man, Ivy Games, not only are they making great games, they're trying to compete with content providers like me to make amazing videos. And this video with Danny Standring was so fantastic. Now, Danny, like Alex before, predominantly does most of her stuff on TikTok. But I do subscribe and occasionally watch her shorts on YouTube as well. She is so much fun, so sassy, so funny, and just packs so much information into tight little videos. But watching her play Crokinole, and really, I now know her better as a person. And I found this was just a casual conversation between a couple of board game fans talking about all kinds of things. Personal, professional, board game, and while playing Crokinole. And it was hypnotic. I just watched the whole thing in one sitting. I got really invested in who was actually going to win and who was going to lose at Crokinole, because that's just a fun game to watch. That could be a professionally televised sport. But what really drew me in was the really engaging conversation. I highly recommend this, folks. I hope everybody watches it, because I want IB to continue this as an ongoing series. It was fantastic. I'd certainly show up for it. Anyway, that's Crokinole Queries, on the IB Games channel. And then the last one I want to shout out to is Ruel. Ruel does a regular show with Adam McKnight. She has live streams of it, and normally it's them talking about comic books, because Amanda McKnight is a cosplayer and comic book YouTuber. She has a great channel of her own if you're interested in comic books and geek culture in general. But this time, they did not talk about comic books or broader world of geekdom. Ruel had an amazing slideshow of his experience at Gen Con. And I said, I know last week that Paula Deming had the best Gen Con post-show coverage. I'm going to amend that. Ruel has the best, because this is the two of them just sitting down, looking at pictures that Ruel took, and talking in depth about all the experiences, good and bad, that Ruel had while he was at Gen Con. And I feel like I have a better understanding about a bunch of games that I had not heard of, but I also have a better understanding about the experience at Gen Con and the people of Gen Con. I mean, look, there's Rach decked out. I mean, so many fun stories. The two of them were just having a wonderful time, and trust me, after you watch this, you would want to hang out with them and have conversations with them. That was Ruel's Gen Con 2023 recap, his regular Words on Wednesday. This time it was Conventions on Wednesday, and it was fantastic. So anyway, folks, those are just a few videos that I very highly recommend. Again, links for all of them are down in the show notes, or you can go on ahead and wait till the end, and they'll have a playlist of every single video I talked about, except for the exclusive stuff. So, no, even the exclusive stuff will be there. Anyway, though, now we end the show with, what do I got here? I've got 5 new games I want to talk about that I discovered recently, folks, that I think they're on my wish list now, and maybe they will be on yours as well. Which ones are they? Okay, for starters, countdown form, number 5 is Statecraft from Do It Games and Jose David Lanza Cebrian. I'm interested in the subject matter because this looks like a shorter, faster card game version of Hegemony, which was a brilliant design I covered last year, but it is a big beast to bite off, and turning it into more of a fast-playing card game that really delves deep on the modern world we find ourselves in and how different countries engage in statecraft in lots of different ways. I'm really intrigued by the subject matter, and also I'm intrigued by this game because the designer, Jose, he did Champions of Midgard and several other games that I know are well received. Champions of Midgard was a great design, so I expect this is going to be a fantastic design from Do It Games, Statecraft. That's my number 5. On to number 4, Come Sail Away. Now I have to admit, I'm normally trying to tell you about games that just got announced, that you can't hear about anywhere else, but I'm cheating a little because sometimes I make mistakes, folks, and I missed Come Sail Away from Sashi and designer Daryl Chow. But I discovered it, and I'm so excited about it now because Daryl did another design of one of Sashi's best games. What's it? I can't think of the name of it. Trip to Remember? Remember Our Trip, right? Is that the name of it? Ironic, I can't remember the name of it. Yeah, Remember Our Trip. I did remember. So Remember Our Trip was fantastic. And Sashi are known for simple, elegant, fast-playing games about really interesting subject matter. And this one is about trying to load passengers as effectively as you can on a cruise liner using Mancala mechanisms. Mancala, the greatest mechanism in all of human history. And they find a new way to do it. So I am very excited about Come Sail Away. I'm jealous of everybody who's already gotten their hands on it. I'm looking at you, Mike Delicio. I got to get my hands on Come Sail Away, and I missed it. Somehow it slipped under the radar for me. Also, number 3 is another one I'm very excited about, Grand Plan New York City. And this one also is from some designers that I think are definitely noteworthy. Brian Leet who did New Haven and Mystic Paths. I've heard nothing but good things about New Haven. I haven't played it. Oh, and Kevin Worden. So these design duo, they've had some other successful designs under their wing, under their blanket. What do things under their? They were successfully designed some other games, right? But more importantly, is Academy Games. Academy Games are known predominantly as Euro-y war game publishers. That's really what they focus on, and they very rarely stray from that. And when they do, they make magic happen, like the Underground Railroad. So if they have decided this game is good enough for them to kind of break their, we mostly do, skirmishy war battle-y stuff, I am interested. I'm especially interested because it is a city building game, tracking the entire history of New York City from the 1600s Dutch settlers right up to the modern day Manhattan we know. I am stoked for this because I love SimCity style builders. I've been to New York, and I got to admit I have a soft spot for it. And again, if Academy Games wants to put their stamp on this, I bet it's going to be something really special. So that was number 4, I believe, or number 3. Yeah, and then we're going on to number 2, Imperium Horizons. And folks, I made a mistake again. I know this got announced last year, but I have to admit I completely ignored it when it was first announced because I thought Imperium was one of the greatest deck builders of all time, maybe the greatest deck builder design of all time. But the original Imperium and spin-offs had too much take that in it. And so I thought, they're getting a new one with, 6 new societies, and that's great, but it'll probably still have too much take that in it. I did not know, though, folks, that it introduces a new trade system, which has the potential, because I actually sat down and talked with Dave Turchi about this. We had a nice chat. I heard about a lot of his other games, but he sold me on this because this turns Imperium Horizons into a Care Bear friendly game. Because instead of attacking each other, stealing from each other, now we can engage in trade with each other and benefit from each other. And if I understood Dave correctly, these systems can be backwards compatible into the old Imperium Horizons, replacing the old attack stuff with trade between players. Positive interaction instead of negative interaction makes me so excited that I had to shout from the rooftops in 2024, Imperium Horizons has rocketed to my #1 must-have game. Okay, because I got some late information. But my #1, folks, isn't actually a game. It's the Loop official agent stickers. I just saw this on Boardgame Geek go up. There's two. There's a pack 1 and a pack 2, probably for the base game and the expansion that's come out. And it's stickers for all the meeples. This is the #1 thing I've needed for the Loop, and I don't know how to get my hands on these. They haven't made a big deal about it. They just kind of silently put this pack 1 and pack 2 on Boardgame Geek, and I went to the websites. I've written emails. I will have stickers on my Loop Meekles. Mark my word, and it's going to be awesome. And if you're as big a fan of the Loop as I am, I figured you might want to know as well. And that's it, folks. Oh my gosh, I think this is the longest episode I've done so far, even though I was trying to talk fast. Must talk faster, like Alex. But anyway, that was it. There's the playlist. There's the subscribe button. There's the, hey, more info on Patreon if you are interested in those exclusives. You know what to do, folks. Click. I've given you stuff for the rest of the day now. You're going to be stuck here watching all this fun stuff. Have a nice day. Talk to you. So long. Bye.